Hey, small group leaders, it's Dave Corbin here. I just wanted to say congratulations. We're about to kick off the first week of our fall semester of groups, and I couldn't really be more excited. I highly anticipate the start of every group semester. A lot of work goes into getting these groups up and going. You all know that from your end as well, and a lot of fruit comes out of what happens in these groups, and I just love watching the process of everything that happens in between through what you put into your groups and ultimately what comes out of them. And so I just want to say, hey, I'm excited. I hope you're excited to get started with your group in the coming week and throughout the semester to see how God uses you and your group to impact those that are in your group. And so I just kind of wanted to kick off this semester with a quick devotional and with the hopes of continuing this kind of throughout the weeks and kind of building upon it. And so what I wanted to start with, I kind of wanted to give you just one thing that I think this semester, there's one thing that I want you as a group leader, as a disciple of Jesus, to focus on above everything else this semester. If you want to see success in your group, if you want to see success in your own life, I think there's one thing that you should focus on this semester. I know it's going to be a focus of mine, and I hope that you join me in that, and I hope to talk about it, like I said, throughout the coming weeks. And it's simply this. I heard a pastor talking about this verse in an entirely new way. It's a verse you've probably heard, may even have memorized. It's very common, but it comes out of John 14, and it's Jesus talking to his disciples. And he says this, very simply, he says, "If you love me, obey my commands." And for the longest time, I've read that verse a very specific way. I've understood what it's saying in a very specific way. And you may be in the same boat as me in this. And it's this, that it kind of reads as if God is saying, if you love me, obey my commands. That there's a lot of sternness to it. It's almost got a little bit of a threat to it in a sense, that if you love me, show me you love me by obeying my commands. Now, I want to say that there is some truth to that all love does require an action to back it up. It can't just be words. We would all agree that love is a verb, that it requires us to step out and act upon what we claim to love. And so, yes, absolutely, I think that there is a truth to that. But I think there's an entirely different understanding that can be implied that we all desperately need. And I think it reads more like this, that if you love me, you'll obey my commands. That if our focus is on loving Jesus, if our focus is on delighting in God himself, that the obedience flows out of that rather than, oh, I've got to prove, I've got to earn, I've got to show, I've got to display how much I love. And again, there's truth in that, but I think the heart of Jesus here is to say, hey, love me first. The obedience flows out of that. The success flows out of that. The good fruit flows out of the love for me, not the focus on just being obedient for obedience sake or for the effort to prove or earn any kind of favor. That the favor's there, the love's there, the acceptance is there. Love me, delight in me, pursue me. Everything else flows out of that. I think we see this again. Jesus says in Matthew 6, he says it this way, hey, listen, you're worrying about life, you're worrying about what you're going to eat, what you're going to do, what you're going to wear, you're worrying about what your group's going to be like. Are there going to be people that take a step closer to Jesus? You're worried about so many things. He says there's one thing, seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all of this will be added unto you. I think it's the same principle that he's saying, hey, delight in the king. Seek after the king and his way of doing things. Pursue him. Love him. Be pouring out towards him, seeking a relationship, a deeper, loving, delighting kind of relationship with him. Seek that first, and everything else will flow out of that. And so my challenge for you this week is don't be so worried about what you're going to do in group, what you're going to say in group, how's the group going to go. Focus on loving Jesus more. Focus on delighting in him. I know for me, like I've come out of dry seasons where I realize I haven't delighted in the Lord in a while. And so I want to encourage you, delight in him. Chase after him. Desire him. As the deer pants for the water, so our soul should long for him. And so my prayer for you, my challenge for you is, hey, don't be so focused on the details. Be focused on Jesus and on delighting in him and on loving him. And so my hope is that this semester, you and we would fall more in love with Jesus. And I think there's two ways to do that, and I hope to unpack this more over the coming weeks. But there's two ways that we need to focus on who he is, and we need to focus on what he's done and what he's doing. And so I want to unpack that, as I said, over the coming weeks. But my hope this week, as you get ready to kick off your group for the very first week of this semester, is that you would fall more in love with Jesus this semester. And so I love you guys. I want the best for you. I'm praying for you. Your coaches are praying for you. They'll be reaching out to you over this week to get in touch and start that process with you. But I just want you to know you're loved, you're covered, you're prayed for. And so you just take the time to pour into your relationship with Jesus, fall more in love with him this semester. Love you guys. Hope to see you soon.